All right, good morning and welcome to VOP this morning. I'm Moses Humphrey. Working with me is Esther Wachiku, where you get to meet her much later on the show. The president on Monday held his first meeting with security chiefs with marching orders for them to arrest insecurity in the country. Plus, residents of Trademore Estate are protesting against planned demolition of their homes in Abuja. Now, these are what we shall be heading into on the show this morning. In the meantime, we would like for you to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV. Now, make no mistake, it is Voice of the People TV, but we call it VOP TV, all right? And also follow us on other social media platforms at VOP TV Live. Well, first off, let's get into what the front pages are saying this morning, and we'll be looking at some dailies. I have with me VOP analyst Cyril Abaku. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Good morning, Moses.
Let's start off with the Punch newspaper, shall we? From the Punch, we have banner headline here: Retired generals set agenda as Tinubu meets service chiefs. Retired generals set agenda as Tinubu meets service chiefs. And then he has sub-riders. Criminal activity is going down. Tinubu picked best hands. Ribadu. Retired generals ask service chiefs to cooperate. Warn against interference. All right. And on top of the nameplate, CBN intervenes as more POS operators implement rate hike. Minority leader, PDP, writes Akpabio over nomination. Electric vehicle, NNPCL plans filling stations, charging ports. All right, interesting headlines there. And then underneath the pictorial here we have UTME, top scorer's dad declares daughter innocent. Innocent demands probe. All right. Single moms. Lagos businessman circulates more nude photos. And also we have Tage Bank profit rises by 300%, pays dividends. All right. So these are the headlines. Cyril, what do you make of the banner headline? Let's start with that one.
Yeah, I was actually going to lash onto it. Because now we hear they say the rate of crime is already going down. The service chiefs were appointed in less than a month. So I don't know what. It's
a little too early to determine.
I'm really even surprised when you say crime is going down. First, are they talking about violent crime, or what sort of crime are they talking about? Even if it's violent crime, people are still dying by the day. The situation in Plateau State has not improved. Nothing. The Boko Haram is still doing their thing. That's one. Number two is the fact that the president himself, after the meeting yesterday, when the NSA addressed journalists, he said the job was daunting. He said the job was humongous. He said the job was big, but that, now paraphrasing what he said, but that it is for such a time that they've come to, serve their country. So, and then again, dealing with insecurity, the Nigerian government over the years has always blended the carrot and the stick approach. Which means if the state feels that it's in a tight place in any way, it would dish out carrots. If it feels that it can crush the uprising or the particular manifestation of crime, it goes to crush it. So I don't know what strategy beyond that is going to be adopted. The Nigerian, the particular thing about Nigeria is that a lot of times, if there's something money can do, we will quickly push a lot of money there. We may not always have the luxury of sitting down to think through, to look at a sustainable solution. Because oftentimes, believe me, the people who they go between, the people who stand between government and whatever it is, the people that need to be assuaged, who does not like the carrot contract? So you find that you have bloated invoices when security in Nigeria has taken more money in the past 8 to 10 years than any other sector has taken, and yet we're the worse off for it. So I don't know if you can teach old dogs new tricks, but in this case, it appears to be these are new dogs. Whether they use the same old tricks or not is what I don't know. But the book is written already. We normally always use the carrot and stick, or carrot or stick approach. It's the two. It's both ways. Yesterday, former governor Yerima of Zamfara, who notably used to cut people's hands for stealing, who used to amputate people for stealing, was not telling the president to negotiate with bandits in Zamfara state. You know what I mean? So this is the way it's always been done, citing what happened in the Niger Delta under President Umar Musa Yar'Adua. So yes, so this is the thing. There's nothing. I, for one, when I said Dr. said the other time that the military was involved in oil theft, for example, that's a crime against the state. It's an economic crime. It's a financial crime. Now, we've not investigated. We've not done anything about it. He just made the allegation. The president sacked the service chiefs, and it ended there. So what is the new thing that we're going to do? If the basic tenets of criminal procedure are not being followed, what is the new thing that we're so? Let's get serious. Let's get. These people have been appointed. They've never even. I think it was only on Thursday, Friday that some of their prisoners were even handed over to them. What have they done? What has the president particularly done that has made security to ameliorate in the country? So I think we need to face the facts a bit more and tell ourselves the truth, because that's the only thing that can lift Nigeria from where it is to where it wants to be.
All right, so does this seem like a possible improvement in the economy if the NNPC goes ahead to put charging ports at filling stations for electric cars?
Or
do you see it as being far-fetched, considering the level of our technology developments?
Far-fetched, because I will be very happy to be contradicted and be proven wrong. I've said it time and again, and you know where I stand on these issues. I said when it comes to Nigerian matters, I will not give them the benefit of the doubt. Let them disappoint me. I'll be at peace being disappointed by Nigerian officials than to believe them. That risk is too weighty and is beyond what I can indemnify. So, but reality is this: how many cars in Nigeria? How many people are driving electric cars in Nigeria? That's the first question. How many Nigerians can buy electric cars? Because I'm not sure electric cars are coming as Tokumbo, as second hand, right? Well,
as to buying, I think Nigerians can buy. As to availability, yes, I've seen a few myself, but if you want to put a ratio to it, the ones I've seen are more like hybrid cars, actually. They are hybrid, so they have electric, chargeable, they have the batteries, and then they use fuel as well.
Moses,
to alternate.
The Nigerian worker, but what if government? I don't know how much government pays the Nigerian worker. Then she or she's selling chin-chin, selling Ankara. Yeah, you know that business is in the office to augment their salaries. Okay, why don't we even see a case where we go to Germany or go to France or Israel to look at manufacturing models, or even talk to Innocent? And say, sir, how do you, because this is a time of need. It's an hour of need. How can you help us produce what can, be an alternative source of, nobody talks about those things. For all you care, when I hear them say NNPC is eyeing this, federal government is targeting this, all those are speculative stories that people sometimes plant in the media. They organize press conferences to get people to believe that something good is about to come. Government is thinking, and so on. 5 years down the line, nobody says anything. You've not had that. The first thing you had was the last thing you heard about it. So I'd be happy. The NNPC, as I want to believe, is a private organization, isn't it? And so if they want to do that, it's good. They should take the initiative, but they are not the only ones now. There are. How about the JVCs? No, not JVCs. The multinational oil companies. Okay, you have Mobil, you have Ajib, you have Eni, and so on. They also have their filling stations around the country. Yeah, nothing stops them from also mounting electric pots. But the fact that even they haven't said anything, the people who are enjoying it in their own home countries haven't said anything about it, just tells you that this is another way.
They haven't seen the need to.
Yeah, of course. Look, need, what we call need in the layman's language is what business call market. Need is the market actually. So if they're not seeing the market for it, how is it that it is the local people that are now so? I mean, I don't mean to spite them, but it doesn't really seem to me, because it means, of course, you have to train people who will be able to understand the technology, man it, and so on. In places like America, France, and so on, this is already working smooth, seamlessly. So where they have such competitive advantage, it is cheap and easier for them to bring people who can train others and invest in it than even. So I'm wondering, where's the NNPC coming from? How much will that award as contract to go and buy those from Germany or from China? You know, then train people. It will take another, what about time people who travel them, they are training them and so on and so forth, and money will go away. You know, money will be spent again. Don't be surprised, they'll tell you they spend 10 billion naira in training people alone to man, as if, and you go to the village and you see them, they are normal human beings like you and me. They didn't plant chips in their head to say people that you would dress in a attendant uniform. I'm telling you. So that, but it would be great if they disappoint me. You know, I'm happy. Then. In Sudan, they didn't disappoint me in Sudan. But I'll be glad if they can do that now. That'll be awesome.
All right, then let's move away from the Punch. Let's go to the Guardian now. From the Guardian, economy awaits Tinubu's fiscal direction as uncertainty trails FX liberalization. Commercial banks stop treating BT, PTA, other invisible requests. And then we have police warn against use of orderlies as servants. No consensus on principal officers election as Senate resumes. PEPC admits EU report. CNPP backs observer mission as TMC knocks FG, INEC. And then we have APC crisis. Governors NWC parley ahead of NEC meeting. All right. Yes, these are the headlines that we have on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper.
Can we go by the banner again?
Banner headline, economy awaits Tinubu's fiscal direction as uncertainty trails FX liberalization. And then it has sub-riders, commercial banks, stop treating BT, PTA, other invisible requests.
So the fact is that the economy does not stand in one place. When you, like I said last week, when you introduce a policy, you must have a broad-based picture of what the likely hiccups would be. Policies don't just come and stand on their own like that. As a matter of fact, economists will tell you that when you adopt an economic policy, you need to give it like a 6-month period for you to see the impact, and that is the minimum actually. Now, in the case of the liberalization of the naira, one would have thought that there would have been enough dollars in circulation. The reality is that the dollars are there actually. Nigerians don't trust the system yet. It will take time. Number two is the fact that these dollars, we are not also doing anything that will make people to bring those dollars out. Because of course nobody throws away, the dollar is not our means of exchange in the country, of course. And there are transactions in Nigeria today that still people tell that they still need dollars to transact it, whether government is involved or not. So how do we begin to look at all of these things from a holistic point of view and make sure that we don't just say we have liberalized? It's not on paper. If the banks cannot summon the courage to begin to go to what's it called, the airports and all these places to say, okay, they are setting up shop in those places to trade in BDCs, for exchange. What faith should I have if I have dollars in my hands? if even the official people that the government has given the authorization to are not willing and able to go to, you know, to set up shop. So it's not just enough now. But the thing is, the consequence is with us already. Prices of things have skyrocketed. You can't buy. There's a whole. There are things you can afford, but you can't sustain. That's where we are. You can afford to buy, let's say, a can of fuel, but you can't do that every day. Of course, if you do that every day, you go bankrupt in a week.
It seems it's going to get worse.
Well, of course it is, because...
No, there's a headline I'm looking at now. That's why I'm telling you that it seems it's going to get worse. Okay, this one is picked from the Vanguard newspaper. Bread producers serve notice of imminent hike in price.
Whether they did or not, you are aware that even POS operators...
Yes.
The other day said that they were going to now, withdrawing 10,000 naira will now go for 500 naira. This is the whole thing. And you see, these measures are contractionary. The president cannot speak to one side of the economy and leave other side in other parts in abeyance. Already, we are being told by manufacturers that the hike in electricity costs alone is going to force manufacturers and international businesses to leave the country. I think that the earlier we need to wake up, except there is another agenda that is up the president's sleeves that
we don't know
yet.
Yes,
that we don't know yet, which may make everything going on now look like a blessing in disguise. Well, but as far as we see it, something has to be done, and done early enough. Because, like I said, the economy does not stand on one track. It doesn't stand waiting for what to do. It has a life of its own. Anything you inject into it will, it just takes it in and continues. Bread sellers, it's not just bread sellers. If you hear bread sellers, I think you should take it that there are those who cannot come out and announce that they are here, that the hiking price, for example, shoe cobbler, this
those ones are making a lot more money already.
Say, the money don't...
Because people are trekking, they are making a lot more money.
Say, the money no reach again. No, that's what they tell you. But they can't come to the media and organize a press conference and say Association of Shoe Cobblers of Nigeria. You won't see that. But the fact is that it's biting. It's biting. Frankly speaking, it's biting. So the minimum wage discussions now have been shifted until I think the end of this month or next month or so. These things ought to be sorted out as soon as possible, so that Nigerians can have reprieve, and breathe again.
All right. Well, let's now get into the Vanguard proper. We just lifted that one off the Vanguard, so let's get into the Vanguard proper now. The banner headline in the Vanguard is Insecurity will secure Nigeria, NSA assures. Work as a team and deliver. Tinubu charges security chiefs. Security chiefs won't fail Nigerians, Ribadu. Notes crime rate already going down. Well, we've talked about this already. On top of the nameplate, we have banks borrowing from CBN intensifies, rises 140% to 10.35 trillion naira. That's 10.35 trillion naira. NBA to sue FG over vehicles proof of ownership fee. Negotiate with bandits, ex-governor Yarima urges Tinubu. And we have highest score debacle, JAM, Mesoma, trade words over result. Presidential Tribunal, INEC not ready to defend its case, says LP's lawyers. Excuse me. Now, when you go further down, we have another headline here. Tense NAS, tension over principal officers as lawmakers resume today. All right, do you want to respond before I continue, or should I take the rest of it?
The JAM issue, JAM and the Mesoma, Mesoma, I find it really ridiculous. I find it unconscionable. Why should we have this sort of is it mix up or hiccup or whatever it is you want to call it?
Is it the first time we're seeing things like this?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
But in Mesoma's case now, the point is, I thought this is CBT. Right.
Usually, as soon as you write, you should get your results. Usually.
Is what it really should be. Because the computer, computes and just tells you this is what you scored. So I think it would be good if Jam made a better case, or they should open this up. Let's go and see what really happened there.
You know what I think? Well, I think there are more questions coming out of this, and if you listened to the video that she put out, that the girl, the video that she put out, it was I found it hard believing that when you scan a QR code, a different name appears other than the name on the paper, because that was what she was complaining about. That when the QR code was scanned, she saw a different name that had a different result on it. And then later on, when that same QR code was scanned much later, it had that same name and a different result again. Now the result became her own, became the result that was attributed to her initially. Yes. I think initially the result was the result on the QR code was 161 something. Then when it was scanned later, it became 362, which was what was attributed to her. And looking at the girl, I don't know, maybe I'm just judging based on how she looks. I don't think she has access to hack and falsify. She does. So Jam needs to tell us what exactly it is that happened, and then we need to open an investigation, a parliamentary inquiry into how many students have over the years. Because if it is what we're thinking, whatever it is that might have happened, is something that could have made somebody who scored 400 look like he scored 100. Made someone who scored 100 make look like he scored 500. So we need to now have a thorough investigation. Let's know this CBT thing. Is it working? Is it being manipulated? As somewhere it's all well with the whole. Because I think that for far too long, government began to look at JAMB as a revenue agency. You hear the JAMB people come and say they've made so much
remitted, they've made a refunded and so on, which is fine, which is really good. But a matter as serious as this, I think needs to be looked into. We need to find out what really is wrong. Are there people who have back end access and going there to do whatever it is they want to do, and now something has gone wrong with it? Okay, so this shouldn't be JAMB's word versus Mesoma's word. It makes us look like we lack civilization. We need to now go back and ask what really went wrong, and JAMB needs to do a thorough. There should be, first of all, I think they should organize a meet the press over this matter, okay, to answer questions. And if it is not satisfactory, the president, minister, the permanent secretary of education needs to now wade into the matter and see. But there must be a way to access the back end. There must be, to know what really went wrong. There must be a way to access the back end. Anything short of that will amount to sweeping it under the carpet. These girls' destiny is at stake. Some people write JAMB, if they can't make it that year, it's over for their, over. And I mean, you saw the video, saw the environment in which was recording that thing. When people have in this economy, people save money, register for JAMB. Maybe is even the first time she's writing it. Some people skip 1 year, skip 2 years, then manage to get money to see the exam, and then the authority will just.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Another question is, why did it take JAMB so long
to even respond?
And
the only thing they came out to say was the result was fake.
Yes.
Goodness gracious me. They didn't even say, well, we suspect or we feel that something is fishy with this thing, but we are going to investigate or whatever. They just came out and said the result is
she falsified her result.
They're even accusing the girl.
Yes.
We need to be taking note of some of these things, because the day must come when we punish bad behavior in this country. People who should know better in public service will come up. You want to tarnish the image of a young girl who arguably knows next to nothing about your own failure. They came out and said, when I first saw the headline, she falsified, I said, Nigerians falsifying JAMB result. I now saw the girl in the video and I was like, something is not adding up. So something clearly is there. So, like I said, it shouldn't be JAMB's word versus the girl's word, because I know that there should be a punishment, and the authorities don't waste time punishing people who, but when it comes to their own fault, they want to shirk the responsibility. They punish, if the matter is left in this way, it will not look as if the girl for further result, and there's a punishment for that. She may not be able to, of course, that result will be cancelled, will be withdrawn, and so on. And I don't know whether for another 2-3 years she will even be able to write JAMB again. So, but if it is JAMB's fault, they owe this girl an apology. The federal government was put on scholarship. See, frankly speaking, put on scholarship and apologize to her and her family in a nationally published letter to be published in a national daily, so that when it comes out here, we will pick it up and read it also. Anything short of that will not be satisfactory.
All right, then let's just reel out some of the headlines, and then we'll wrap up this segment of the show. Still from the Vanguard, we have these headlines. We have 53 years after Civil War. Southeast needs new direction. Igbo leaders of thoughts. 9 rescued, 11 trapped as 4-story hotel building collapses in Abuja. And oh yes, Osimhen hints at Napoli stay. All right. So these are the headlines that we have in the Vanguard newspaper. We also have open defecation. Nigeria needs 3.9 million toilets annually. UNICEF.
It's not, well.
Okay.
I was going to jump. If that had come from Ministry of Health or Environment, I would have said it's a lie. No, of course we need toilets. Moses.
Anyway, this is how far we can take this. We can stretch this part of the show. When we come back, we'll look at this story. Tinubu holds first meeting with security chiefs in Abuja. That's the conversation when we return. All right. So I must say a very big thank you to you, Cyril Abaku, for staying with us on the program. We'll be back. Stay with us.